what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
Brothers and sisters, rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Soul Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and thee alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be served worship or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that extended us the greetings of Assalamu alaikum. We have Brother Mustafa and Sister Sharice Ali from Ohio. We have Brother Stephen Cowan from Colorado. We have Brother Richmond X from Massachusetts. We have Brother Yusuf Shabazz from Newport News, Virginia. We have Brother Ibrahim Muhammad from Tampa. We have Brother Abdul Ali from Tampa. And we have Brother Calvin Hankins from Virginia. I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Today, we like to talk about the Black Panther program versus the self-help Muslim program. Because today, in the Black History Month, the hot topic today is the Judas and the Black Messiah, and they just got some new evidence in Malcolm X's assassination points to possible conspiracy. So these are the hot topics that's in Black History Month. So we're going to compare the Messenger's program of self-help to the Black Panther Party's program. And this, we're going to start with Message to the Black Man. And this comes from Land of Our Own and Qualifications. The Unity of 22 Million. The Messenger says there is no hope for us in Christianity. It is a religion organized by the enemies, the white race, of the black nation to enslave us to the white race's rule. He says, but our unity under the crescent with our Allah's guidance can get us anything we desire in the way of help and some of this earth that we can call our own. He says, by the help of Allah, I have and I will still prove to you that Allah has given me the only solution to our problem here under this race of merciless devils. If you can prove to me that you have a better solution for the future of our nation, I will bring my followers and myself and join you. And if the solution given to me from Almighty Allah is best, come you and your followers and join with me. This is the message. The Messenger says first, because we got to redefine what unity means. Because most of us have been scarred by Lewis. Most of us think the old my black brother stuff is what the messenger taught us that unity was supposed to be. You know, we all black. We all should come together as black groups and bring our doctrines together and figure this thing out. You got something and I got something. Let's put it together and figure this thing out. That's not what unity meant with the messenger. The messenger says unity under the crescent. Praise due to Allah. With our Allah's guidance. That's number one. Unity under the crescent. Let's see what unity under the crescent means. Because the messenger used to throw shots at them Panthers. He used to throw shots at them to show people the faults in their program. He had it all in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. First, in this is the December 5th, 1969, Muhammad Speaks. It says, envy, he makes all things new. The messenger has a progress section. In this progress section, the messenger throws shots at the Black Panther Party. First, what we see in this progress section, once again, the messenger says unity under the crescent is all that is necessary for you and me to become the world's greatest people.
Yes, sir.
Unity under the crescent. And he explains what unity under the crescent really means. He shows us a picture of it. He says, have our own schools, our own legislative and judicial systems under the crescent. Land that we can call our own industries. All praise is due to Allah. Then he shows what the white man has as the scales of justice. The white man's scales is tilted, but the messenger scales is equal, it's level. On one side of the scale, it says follower of Mr. Muhammad. It don't have the Panthers, civil rights leaders, don't have all them other groups. It just have follower of Mr. Muhammad. Then on the other side of the scale, it has other nations. That was the messenger's plan of unity. Unity under the crescent. So in this same Muhammad Speaks progress section, the messenger has the Junior FOI cartoon taking the shot at the Black Panther Party. In the cartoon, you see the Junior FOI is standing with the lost found brother looking at a construction site. The Junior FOI says, boy, that's going to be a big building. Look how deep the foundation is. He says that engineer had to know his stuff to plan that job. I plan to be an engineer myself one day, going to our institution of technology. That's the Junior FOI. So then the lost found non-Muslim brother, he said, man, that's a drag. The FOI, the Junior FOI says, what do you mean, brother? The lost found brother says, nobody's thinking about school, Jack. It's counter-revolutionary. School is out, man, and destruction is in. Don't you all believe in that? That's taking a shot at them Panthers. Them Panthers used to talk about destruction, fighting the police. And not only did the messenger take shots at him, but Roy Wilkins, this is the exact same thing he talked about in 1970 in his article called Black Muslim Schools Have Right Idea. He was talking about this exact same thing that the messenger taking shots at these Panthers about. Because I must give credit where credit is due. From reading these articles in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper is how I began to learn that this oh my black brother stuff wasn't what it was. I used to read, and I'll never forget, Sister Margie Hassan. Gotta give her credit. She, all praise due to Allah. She was the one who opened my eyes to see clear that the "Oh My Black Brother" stuff was not the way Muslims represented the message. Because she would have her article with the Messenger's article. She had Women in Islam, and she had another separate article criticizing other black leaders and black groups. She opened my eyes. I got to give her credit. Because what was so different about her is not only did she talk about the leaders, she pointed out their flaws. She pointed them out clearly, said their name. And if you did not sympathize with the Messenger, she was talking about you. She talked about Jesse Jackson, H. Rap Brown, Stokely Carmichael, every black group that was out. Sister Margie Hassan talked about them. She was a believer. And you can tell her belief through her words and her art. She was Elijah Muhammad on the highway. Praise due to Allah. All of her articles. Women in Islam, it's Elijah Muhammad's way or it's the highway. When she wrote her article with the Messenger, it was Elijah Muhammad's way or the highway. So I give her credit. She was the one who opened my eyes to the "Oh My Black Brother" stuff. So the Messenger had other people who weren't even Muslims, who opened up people's eyes to the flaws and the faults of the Black Panther Party and these other militants. Because the Messenger said, "I will prove to you that God in the person of Master Farad Muhammad gave me the best solution and the only solution to the problem. I will prove it to you." And the Messenger not only had Muslims like Margie Hassan, he had brothers like Roy Wilkins. He had another group. This article comes from a black newspaper, and this newspaper is called the St. Louis American. Some more lost found, representing the Messenger, pointing out the flaws in the Black Panthers and the success of the Messenger. So Roy Wilkins, bearing witness to this cartoon, he says, unlike the average black militant, the Muslims believe in hard work. Yes. Then he goes on to say, he says, Negro American militants shun work. Then he goes on to say, it is in schooling that the Muslims have so much to teach Negro Americans. Yes, through schooling. Yes. This brother in this article was talking about how he wanted to go and be an engineer in our institute. Yes. But the lost found brother said that's a drag. He talking about destruction. Going to school is counter-revolutionary. That's how them Panthers used to talk. So Roy Wilkins pointing out that fact in his art. Yes, sir. So Roy Wilkins, and what's special about Roy Wilkins? Roy Wilkins was in the NAACP. Yes, sir, that's right. He was a civil rights leader just like most of them Panthers before they started stealing the teachings of the message. Fred Hampton, the same brother they making this movie about. He was in the NAACP. That's where he started out. That's where they got that begging from. Because the Messenger had farming is self-help. Yeah. Self-help. To feed our own. Farming is self-help. Yeah. But them Panthers, Fred Hampton, and the rest of them believed in a free breakfast program. They believed in a free clinic. That's all government assistance. The Messenger says self-help. That's right. He said, I will prove to you that Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, gave me the best and only solution to our problem. Yes, sir. Right. So then, Roy Wilkins went on. He said, Negro American kids need to build circuits or closed circuit television sets instead of throwing bricks through windows, tossing Molotov firebombs, and looting stores to steal television sets. One of these days, the nation may wake up to find out that while Negroes were getting high on Malcolm X paperbacks, this Roy Wilkins talking about Malcolm Little. Because another thing about Lewis and the New School Nation of Islam, they sympathize with Malcolm.
Yes, they do.
They sympathize with him. They talk about the old my black brother stuff. Because now that Malcolm, they got this new evidence talking about the NYPD had something to do with his death. So now all the new school Muslims under Lewis can talk about how we had nothing to do with Malcolm X. Nothing to do. But what makes them sound foolish is whenever the messenger was asked about Malcolm, he never said nothing about the FBI.
No, that's right.
He never said nothing about the police. He never tried to explain to the lost found we had nothing to do with his death.
That's right.
Never.
Yes, sir.
Neither did none of his followers. The messenger said Malcolm was a hypocrite.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Praise due to Allah.
Yes, sir.
He said he's preached blood bath and he got blood bath.
That's right.
That's what he said.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Never did he try to prove to nobody that we ain't had nothing to do with his death.
Yes, sir.
The messenger said Allah had a hand in his death.
That's what he said.
The messenger taught about victory of the apostles.
Yes, he did.
That's what he talked about when he talked about this hypocrite Malcolm Little.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Because we sound like fools today
Yes, sir.
when we try to make these lost founds believe the nation had nothing to do with the death of Malcolm X. Malcolm used to slander the messenger.
Yes, sir.
Malcolm used to come to Chicago to slander the messenger.
That's right.
All of these Black Panthers rejected the messenger to worship Malcolm X.
Yes, sir.
All of them did.
Yes, sir.
All of them stole the messenger's teachings, all talking about we following Brother Malcolm. So we look like fools today, trying to explain to the lost found, when Muslims never tried to explain. And we give these people a bat to beat us with, because we live in a generation of the World Wide Web.
Yes, sir.
These Muhammad Speaks newspapers is online now.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Praise to Allah. You can go and read what the messenger said.
Yes. Right.
You can go and read what Louis X or Louis Farrakhan used to say
Yes, sir.
about this hypocrite.
Yes. Sir.
You can actually listen to his lectures on YouTube
Yes. Sir.
about him talking about them brothers who killed Malcolm X.
Yes, sir.
He praised them.
Yes.
But not today. We talking about we ain't had nothing to do with the death of Malcolm X. No. Go and listen to it for yourself.
Yes, sir.
Malcolm taught blood bath and he got blood bath.
That's right.
You fill in the blanks
Yes, sir.
wherever you want to,
Yes, sir.
because we don't have nothing to explain to them lost fighters.
Yes, sir.
Give it to you straight up.
Right.
That's how more praise is due to Allah. That's how Margie Hassan used to write her articles. We ain't got nothing to explain
That's right.
to them lost fighters.
Yes, sir.
The messenger had the strongest black army we ever seen
That's right.
in the FOI.
Yes, sir.
Them brothers wasn't trying to explain to them lost files about Mount. Think what you want to think.
Right. Yes, sir.
After you think what you want to think, what you gonna do?
Right. Yes, sir.
What you gonna do?
Yes, sir.
If you believe that the nation has something, that's what the messenger has said. What you gonna do?
Yes, sir.
If you find out that it was the Nation of Islam, what you gonna do? You ain't gonna do nothing.
Right. Yes, sir.
The messenger, in one of the articles, because there's so much history on the messenger, we got to talk about him. We got to talk about the army he raised. Forgot to bring the Muhammad Speaks, but it's a 1974 Muhammad Speaks newspaper talking about, on the front cover of the paper, it says Muslims acquitted.
Yes.
In 1974, unarmed Muslims Talk about these Panthers, because sometimes I just want to talk about the history sometimes. Talk about them FOI, who are stronger than these Black Panthers.
Yes.
The messenger used to have to tell unarmed Muslims, we are never the aggressor.
That's right. Yes, sir.
The history of the Nation of Islam, Muslims wasn't waiting on the white man to attack them. Some of them brothers used to step to the white man unarmed.
Yes, sir.
I done read the history. It's online. It's in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, and if you go read these other papers. Unarmed Muslims
Yes.
used to step to armed devils and say, it's going down today. See how tough you is. That was the messenger's Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Praise due to Allah. That's why them brothers wasn't explaining nothing to them lost found. Believe what you want to believe.
Yes, sir.
So in this 1974 Muhammad Speaks newspaper in Atlanta, Georgia, unarmed Muslims got into a fight with armed devils. Unarmed brothers.
Yes, sir.
Because the white man used to try to set up brothers who were selling the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Try to get lost farms. Start arguments.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Start fights with brothers. So the armed police can come and try to shoot Muslims. That's what the devil used to do.
Sir.
So in this particular incident, because there's many incidents, but this one we got documented online. They rolled on the brothers. The brother told them, we gonna fight because Muslims used to call other Muslims because they was selling papers. The devils rolled on. So the brothers hollered out, Allahu Akbar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Muslims start coming from everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Documented facts.
Yes, sir.
They used to think they could make brothers afraid because they was armed. These brothers was not afraid. Go read it for yourself.
That's right, brother. It's there.
They was not afraid. All them unarmed Muslims stepped to them armed devils. Disarmed them devils.
Yes, sir.
Documented facts. It's in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper online today. Disarmed them devils. Then when the brother took it and disarmed them, he pointed it at, defending himself.
Yes.
The courts acquitted the Muslims.
Yes, sir.
Praise due to Allah. Them brothers was fearless. These Panthers was just talking. But that's one history that we gonna talk about. We gotta keep going with the farm. So Roy Wilkins told them, he said, one of these days, the nation may wake up to find that while Negroes were getting high on Malcolm X paperbacks, Malcolm X co-religionists, and co-religionists just mean those who follow Islam like Malcolm. He says Malcolm's co-religionists were making away with the pride of manhood in a tough and demanding world. While they getting high on Malcolm X books, the messenger and his followers was making away with pride and manhood by building your own schools, having your own farms to feed yourself. So let's go even further with the messenger. So the messenger had the junior FOI talking to this brother, telling him about getting the education. Getting the education is more important and more constructive than destruction.
Yes, sir. That's right.
So the lost found brother says, nobody's thinking about school, Jack. It's counter-revolutionary. School is out, man. Destruction is in. Don't you all believe in that? He says, no, brother. We black people need education. But I can understand how those schools ruined your mind. Mr. Muhammad's teachings awaken you to the whitewashing you received, and now you're angry. Now that the truth have opened one eye, let the wisdom of Mr. Muhammad open the other one.
Yes, sir.
This is another thing I like. When you read that old school stuff in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, when you had these other black groups, they was half dead.
Yes.
That's what they used to say about them.
Yes.
You half dead, you got one eye open or something like that, saying you almost got it. But if you wasn't following the messenger, you was still half dead, half learned. You ain't know nothing.
Right. That's right.
But with Lewis and the new school nation of Islam, they let anybody come talk. Let anybody come and be all a part because we with the new school stuff. Oh, my black brother. But he said, now that you got one eye open, come hear the wisdom of the messenger and get both eyes open.
Right. That's right.
Praise due to Allah. That's how you wake up.
Yes.
Because the black man has been put to sleep
Right.
by the white man.
Yes, sir.
So when you join these black groups, you heard the messengers, teachers. That's what woke you up.
That's right.
So now you got one eye open. You a Panther. You mad, you angry. So you got one eye open.
Right. Right.
But what you need to do is get the other eye open
Right.
by listening to the wisdom of Messenger Muhammad.
Right. Right.
That was that old Islam.
Yes, sir.
You ain't got both eyes open until you FOI.
That's right. Yes,
What
sir.
you do to Allah? Till you MGT, that's when you got both eyes open.
Yes, sir.
As long as you in the temple, that's when you got both eyes open.
Right.
So he goes on to say, he says, come on to the mosque and let our great teacher show you how education can benefit self. But you, then the lost found brother say, but you all do teach whitey's destruction. The brother said, no, brother. Mr. Muhammad teaches that Allah God has set a time for the destruction of the wicked white race. But it is not up to us, the righteous, who follow Allah's apostle. He is teaching us to build, not to destroy.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Pray to Allah. This the message.
Right.
Yes.
So he goes on to say, he says, and who would take care of us when the white man could not any longer? Without education and technical skills to help ourselves, no nation will want us. We will still be slaves to the nations.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Them Panthers wasn't talking that kind of talk.
That's right. Yes, sir.
After you done took your Molotov cocktail and burned down a supermarket, where all the other black people about to eat?
Right. Right.
After you fight the police and they destroy you, what you gonna do then?
Yes, sir.
The messenger said, we gotta build.
That's right.
We 400 years behind.
Yes, sir.
We don't have time to try to be fighting the police.
Yes, sir.
We need to build ourselves a farm and feed our women and children.
That's right.
What you do to Allah?
Yes, sir.
So the brother goes on. He said, brother, if you just accept Islam and get the spiritual education that's taught by Mr. Muhammad, you'll probably be a straight A student in political science. The young brother said, yeah, you think so? And that's how the cartoon ends.
Yes, sir.
The messenger throwing shots at them Panthers.
That's right.
Because the messenger said you can't just let the wolf help himself.
That's right. Yes, sir.
The messenger reached out to Fred Hampton.
Yes, he did. Yes, sir.
He reached out to this brother.
Yes, sir.
He let him come into his home. But Fred Hampton was talking solidarity with the white man.
That's right. Yes, sir.
But he didn't want no solidarity with the messenger.
That's right. He did.
But in the new school nation of Islam, we talking about this movie as a must-see. For what?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a shame what happened to this brother.
Yes, sir. That's right.
But the fate of Fred Hampton is the same as the fate of Malcolm X.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Fred Hampton opposed the messenger.
Yes, sir.
He the messenger of God.
Yes, sir.
God gave him the only solution to our problem.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Praise due to Allah.
Yes, sir. That's right.
So through all those who oppose the messenger, you are an example to the rest of us
That's right.
of what happens when you oppose Allah and his messenger.
That's right. Yes,
That's how Muslims supposed to be talking about Fred Hampton.
yes, sir.
We don't mean no disrespect to him or the Panthers.
Yes, sir.
But just like them old school Muslims used to be, they didn't mean no disrespect to H. Rap Brown and Jesse Jackson and the rest of them, but they talked about them.
Yes, sir.
if they did not submit to the messenger's program.
Right.
So let's go even further with the farm. This comes from the February 2nd, 1970 Georgia or Atlanta Constitution. This is an article talking about Brother Cornelius on the farm in Georgia. Because the messenger said farming is self-help.
Right.
He said, I will prove to you that Allah in the person of Master Farah Muhammad gave me the only solution to your problem.
Yes, sir.
So we got Brother Cornelius with another brother, Thomas Hall. And in this picture, it says Thomas Hall left and Cornelius Smith with 130,000 bushel beans. What's a bushel bean? Because we got to break this down to show you the messenger's program of self-help.
Yes, sir.
So according to the definition of bushel, it says bushel is a unit of volume that is used for measuring agricultural produce such as corn or beans. A bushel is equivalent in volume to 8 gallons. That's what a bushel is equivalent to, 8 gallons. So it says Brother Cornelius and this other brother Thomas is standing next to 130,000 bushel beans. So 8 times 130,000 will be 1,040,000 gallons. This the message.
Yes, sir.
But brother, they ain't talking about Brother Cornelius and them fighting the police.
That's right. Yes, sir.
They ain't talking about them throwing Molotov cocktails through no window. They not talking about that. They talking about them farming.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
So when Brother Cornelius and them brothers went down to Georgia for the farm, they used to think that they was Black Panthers. They felt like the Muslims was there to take over the government and all that foolishness they used to say. So they asked Brother Cornelius. They say, what is the connection between Black Muslims and Black Panthers? He smiled. The only connection is that we're both black.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's all. It wasn't none of the old my black brother stuff. Because the messenger's program is the only salvation for the black man.
That's right.
And Muslims constantly taught or show black people what they talking about is different from the message.
Yes, sir.
He the farmer. And he more militant than these new school Muslims today.
That's right.
He
Yes, sir.
smiled and said, "So kind word.
Yes, sir.
The only thing that's the same about us and them Panthers is we both black.
Yes, sir.
We don't talk the same talk they talk.
That's right.
We believe in building, they believe in destroying.
Yes, sir.
We believe in feeding ourselves, they believe in begging."
Yes, sir. That's right.
Praise be to Allah. So it goes on to say, it says they operate a 1,750 acre farm. Let's talk about that. What's the average size of a farm? In 2019, the average farm size was 444 acres. That's an average farm. The messenger got a farm that's 1,750 acres.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Yes,
This the message. So then it goes on to say, what's a very large farm? It says a very large farm average acreage is 2,800 or 2,086 acres. That's a very large farm.
Yes, sir.
The messenger was 336 acres away in 1970 from having a very large farm.
Yes, sir.
Let's go on even further than that. Let's talk about 1974. Another article says Muslim farming efforts expanding in Georgia. So the messenger went from that 1,750 acre farm to an even bigger farm.
Yes, sir.
This the message. Talking about self-help.
Yes, sir.
Feed yourself, not begging for no free cartoon the messenger used to have in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. It was these two brothers at a bar sitting down eating hard. Because the Panthers used to say, off the pigs. That's what they used to call the police. They used to call the police the pig.
Yes, sir. That's right. Yes, sir.
So in the cartoon, it say they talking about off the pig, but they eating the pig.
Yes, sir.
That was the message.
Yes, sir.
He used to throw shots, soft kind words.
That's right. Yes,
That was the message. Soft. That's why people don't think the messenger was militant and hardcore like Malcolm Little. The messenger will beat you with soft, kind words.
Yes, sir. That's right. Yes, sir.
Soft, kind words that will pierce your soul.
Yes, sir.
With soft, kind
Yes,
words.
sir.
That was the message. So, a farm, it says Muslim farming efforts expand in Georgia. It says black Muslims are reaching for a toehold on Georgia's economy by expanding their agriculture concerns and employing unskilled laborers, a spokesman for the group said Saturday. The messenger say we out for the economy of Georgia.
Right. Yes, sir.
We ain't begging for no free breakfast program.
Right.
We ain't trying to get no free clinic. That's what they praising them Panthers for. But we live in the generation of the new school nation of Islam. We wasting our time trying to explain to the lost found we wasn't responsible for the death of Malcolm X. Instead of getting at these Panthers, why you make a movie about Fred Hampton and they make one about the message?
Yes, sir.
That's what a Muslim's supposed to say.
Right.
Y'all worship the Panthers, we love the message.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Praise is due to Allah. A Muslim got a problem with the fact why y'all not talking about the message
Yes, sir.
in this article. So I keep jumping back and forth. So I want to cover it all.
Yes, sir.
In this article, another article, the one black Muslims present religious contrast. This was from the St. Louis American, another black newspaper. They say there is a phenomenon happening in this nation that gets very little media publicity. The same way they used to hate on the messenger then, they hating on him now.
That's right. Yes, sir.
They said a phenomenon. This is black people.
Yes, sir.
The St. Louis American was a black newspaper. Roy Wilkins was a black man who worked for the NAACP.
Right.
The messenger said, I will prove to you that the program that I got from Allah who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad is the best and only solution.
That's right. Yes, sir.
He proved it to the black man.
Yes, he did. Yes,
So all these black progressive class, educated class of black people start looking at the message. Say this is a phenomenon that's getting very little media attention.
Yes.
Then they go on to say, this phenomenon, enterprise, is in direct contrast to the demonstration plans and counter-police plans involving the Black Panthers. This was black people who wasn't Muslims,
Yes, sir.
more militant than the new school nation of Islam. They didn't even accept Islam, but they saw the messages program.
That's right.
And the messengers say, I will prove to you that the plan of the program that I got from Allah who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad is the best and only solution to the problem.
That's right.
He proved it to the black man.
Yes, sir.
So not only would they talk about his program like we do today, with this the most honorable Elijah Muhammad stuff we be talking. We just talk about how great the businesses was, he had this and that. Black people used to compare, show you the faults and the flaws of other people's program and the success of the message.
Yes, sir.
Because you not doing nothing to help the messenger to just say, oh, he had farms and he had this. You gotta point out the faults and the flaws of other programs.
Yes, sir.
That's how you prove his is the best.
That's right.
You don't prove his is the best by trying to tell people we had nothing to do with Malcolm X's death. You don't prove nothing like that.
Right.
You have to point out the faults and the flaws of their program.
That's right.
They will accept the Malcolm X stuff, just like Roy Wilkins and they did. They even talk about in these articles, the white man is the devil. Roy Wilkins and other black people started to accept that. Because in the 50s, that was an issue with the black man. They teach hate. They teach this and that. But as time went on, and the messenger kept proving to the black man that his program is the best, they didn't care nothing about what his teachings was talking about. They didn't care nothing about the white man is the devil. They didn't care nothing about the messenger calling Malcolm a hypocrite or none of that. They would compare the messenger's program to these Malcolm X loving people.
Yes, sir.
Praise due to Allah. That's what the messenger's program would do. The black man, the messengers say, is made or created of truth.
Yes.
The messengers say we might be slow to go to it, but the truth is in us.
Right. Yes, sir.
So if you teach the black man the truth about the messenger, he might be slow to accept, but eventually they will accept.
Yes.
So they go on to say, they say, in fact, it is actually slipping up on the American people with little or no assistance from the powerful newspaper, television, radio, and FBI reports. Just like today, the messenger program gonna slip up on them without no help from the news, the newspapers, or the TV.
Yes.
Same thing gonna happen in this generation.
That's right.
While they praising a hypocrite, Malcolm Little, and they fantasizing over Fred Hampton.
Yes, sir.
Because the messenger's program is just as strong today as it was then.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Praise due to Allah.
right. Yes, sir.
So they go on to say, they say whatever you may think about the black Muslims and their central creed of hating all whites as devils is certainly one most disagree with. You have to admire their actions that follow their talk about basic morals and business doings. They say what a strange condition in our great media coverages when so much space and time is given to the black militants who have no viable program. These black people defending the message
Yes, sir.
harder than these new school Muslims on the loose.
That's right. Yes, sir.
They didn't even care nothing about the white man's the devil. They teach hate. Yeah, they teach hate. You might not agree with it, but look at their actions.
Right.
Look at the business that they own. And look at these ones who worship in Malcolm.
Right.
They don't even have a viable program for the black man.
Yes, sir.
The truth, the messenger says, will prevail.
That's right.
We ain't got to explain nothing to these lost founds about Malcolm. He was a hypocrite.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Praise due to Allah. Like Brother Jeremiah said in one, and we'll never honor him.
That's right.
Never honor him. He was a hypocrite.
Right.
He was a turncoat.
Right.
Yes.
He was a Judas.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
He was our Judas.
That's right.
Yes,
Malcolm Little.
yes, sir.
He learned all this from the messenger.
That's right.
All that he got from the messenger.
Right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Then he came and turned heels on the messenger
That's right.
and tried to make you think he was a leader.
Yes, sir.
Let's go on with the message. In this article called Farming Self-Help, the messenger says, he says, we the black people of the Western Hemisphere should unite and turn our attention to the most important and most essential issue of life, farming. This is man's greatest industry, the first step of self-independence, the engine of life, and the prosperity of life. The sudden advance of the white race in the mechanical world with its high salaries, a money world, has robbed us, the black man, of the bread of life, farm. So the messenger breaking it all the way down.
Yes, sir.
The white man robbed us of the essentials of life.
Right.
The first step to self-independence with these jobs, with integration, paying us these high salaries to get us away from the farm.
That's
That's
what
right.
he did.
That's the messenger.
That's right.
So he goes on to say, he says farming will take us out of the bread line the soup line, the clothing line, the sheltering line, etc. Being too proud to help self is the most essential way. Farming is the destruction of your life. After freedom, we have fallen into the worst and strongest chains of slavery, looking to the same people, our slave masters' children, to feed, clothe, and shelter us. That was them Panthers. That's why the devils today, in this FBI file stuff that these militants love to talk about that, the rise of a black messiah. Because in this so-called FBI thing, they talking about the messenger was too old to become a black messiah. They say Malcolm could have been one. They talk about Stokely Carmichael to praise these foolish black militants. Then this so-called information leaked out in 1969, I think, to praise them, to make them think they on the right path. When the messenger was the one. If it was a black messiah, he was that.
Yes, sir.
To the black man.
Yes, sir.
But the white man, just like a cat, do a mouse. He play with the mouse before he kill it.
Yes, sir.
So the white man make you think the Black Panther Party was a threat to the white man's operation. They couldn't even feed their own self.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Instead of building a farm, they want to go fight the police. But let's go on with the message. The messenger says another sad mistake that you, the black American so-called Negroes, are making is the refusal to accept my God-given advice and warnings to you under my name. Due to your greedy desire for self-credit or the desire to be your own shepherd, this striving among so many of our people for leadership has destroyed the power of every so-called Negro organization, not including myself and my followers. This same factor destroys a nation economically. This the messenger talking against them Panthers and all the rest of them.
Yes, sir.
They desire for self-leadership and credit. They steal my teachers and form some other group. That destroys a nation economic.
Yes.
So the messenger goes on. He said, if it were not for God himself in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, guiding, powering, and backing me to do these things I am doing for your salvation, you will take the credit for yourselves that is due to me. You will never be successful until you unite and follow me, regardless of your dislike to do so. A foolish people are those who, due to pride in their desire for self-leadership over God's choice, reject their salvation.
Yes, sir. That's right. Yes, sir.
He says, I warn you to unite with me and let us do something for self and under the guidance of our God, Master Farad Muhammad. For at the end of this war, you will not have high salaries and valuable money. There will be no help for the black American except that which comes from God in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Those of you who fail to unite and follow me will suffer the worst of all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We heard that devil from Colorado, Texas.
Right.
He told them, fend for yourself.
Yes.
Right.
That's what he told white people.
That's right.
What you think they gonna tell the black man?
Right.
And before I close, we gotta talk about that farm that was in Georgia. The messenger went from the 1,750 acre farm to a 7,000 acre farm.
Lord, I'm lost.
It says Atlanta Muslim minister Abdul Rahman said religious sect known as the Nation of Islam owns more than 7,000 acres of farmland in Terrell and Lee counties in southwest Georgia. About 3,000 beef cattle. The farm that brother showing them by some beef cattle on the 1,750, the Angus beef cattle.
Yes, sir.
Now they got 3,000 Angus beef. And then this one was talking about how the devils was poisoning the cattle. 60 to 100 cattle the devil killed.
Yes, sir.
The messenger stayed there and got more acres and more cattle.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
While these Panthers praising a hypocrite, Malcolm Little.
Right. Yes, sir.
The messenger said, I will prove to you that God in the person of Master Farad Muhammad gave me the only solution to our problem.
Yes, sir.
This was only one of the messenger's programs.
Yes.
We don't have time in 1 hour to talk about them all.
Right.
Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I leave you as I came in the nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful. So, Master's day of judgment in which we now live, the alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves, and treat everybody right, even the devils. Assalamu alaikum.